today's guest is a person who I call the mayor of Sewickley, which is the town she lives in, because her name is Mackenzie T'eo. She is the founder of an iconic gym called Bag Barre. She is an extreme community builder, and this whole conversation today is going to revolve around how to find and build community as an adult. So I could not think of a better person to bring onto the show. Welcome to the Accidentally Intentional podcast, my friend Mackenzie T'eo.
That was the most kind intro I've ever heard in my life. Try not to tear up over here.
Oh my
So
word,
kind.
Kens, but it's all true. And I do call her the mayor of Sewickley because recently I went to Mackenzie's classes, and afterwards we went to brunch. And this is not an exaggeration when I say that every single person that walked in the door
Yeah.
to this brunch restaurant knew Mackenzie by name. And I was like, is this a joke? Is this the Truman Show? Like, what is happening right now? And this is just how good of a community builder she is. So, Kens, how are we doing this morning? I can't believe you woke me up at 7 a.m. to record this podcast.
No, we feel great. I feel great. I'm an early riser. Sometimes I wish I could be a night owl, but I'm not. I'm up pretty early every morning, and this morning I got a workout in. Got to say hi to my hubby. Got a smoothie on deck. Here for you, Zoe.
All before the two little ones woke up.
Yes, they're both still sleeping. Thankfully,
We love
hopefully.
that.
Yeah.
So, Kens, I want to talk about Bag and Bar and how it came to be because Mackenzie has been on the show. This is now your third time.
I
Kens, you might be
know.
one of the longest, like the most recurring guests we've had, which is
An
amazing.
honor.
But I've seen you through everything. We've been friends for a decade, and you open this gym in a town where like maybe a handful of people. And knowing that it's a brick and mortar business where you need clientele in person in order to survive, that had to probably be a pretty daunting task. So let's start with the overwhelming feeling of not even opening a gym, but holy cow, I have to make friends and build a community here for my survival. Let's
Yeah.
talk about it.
Yeah, that was pretty terrifying. I remember the night before, so we did our grand opening on a Friday, and then we had 3 classes on Saturday. That was our first set of classes, and I felt like
Okay.
I was going to throw up. I didn't do anything the way that you're supposed to. I didn't start a business or open a gym the way that you're supposed to. I didn't have any big backing from anybody. I didn't have a team. It was literally just me for the first 6 months. Taught all the classes, all the
Well,
social media, all of the financial end, like you name it, from scrubbing the toilets to teaching every day. It was just me, and absolutely terrifying knowing that if
mm,
people choose not to come in the doors, then the doors close. But at the same time, I knew that I have been created for a purpose to create community.
mm,
I've always been the one that if somebody is sitting alone, I'm like, surely they don't want to be alone. They need me there, you know? And
yeah, yeah.
my husband is the opposite. He's very much like,
They're good.
mind your business. They're good. They probably need some space. And I'm like, hey, do you want a buddy?
I love it.
So I think that's just kind of it's just who I am. It's just part of my DNA to welcome people and invite people into anything that I'm doing that I think that they would enjoy, whether or not I know them. And I think you just see the fruit of that in the gym. I tried really, really hard at the very beginning of the gym to create a culture of just welcoming. I know how going to a new gym, Zoe, I know you've experienced this too. Going to a
Yeah,
new gym, you can feel so anxious. The level of
100%.
anxiety trying
Yeah,
something new that you've never done before around people that you don't know in a culture that you have never experienced is so scary.
yeah.
And I never wanted that to be the case at Bag and Bar. So all of us trainers, anytime somebody walks in the door, whether you've been there for 500 classes or it's your first class, we always say, welcome in. We're happy to see you. Happy you're here. Can I get you anything? We make sure that we do I was going to say personal touch. We don't touch everybody, but we make sure that we go out of our way to welcome every person who comes in.
Yeah.
And it's become such a family. I mean, There, I would say like 50 to 60% of the people who come in actually hug me at the very beginning of class. Like I love it so much. And we've created this culture of we cheers, we knock gloves at the end of all of the boxing rounds, and we take pictures all the time. Like it's just become this overflow of this like
Mm.
small seed of love that I have for people. And you see it all throughout the Bag and Bar kind of lifestyle and community, both inside and outside of the gym.
I love it, and you really do feel loved when you enter, and I'm not just saying that because I knew you and we've been friends before, but genuinely, I was so impressed when I go to your classes of just how everyone is fully seen, and you do have the benefit of that because you max out classes at how many people?
10.
Okay, yeah, which is awesome
Yeah, we
because
squeeze them in
you
there. It's a tiny space.
yes, but I think it almost forces people to
Mhm,
have to confront the discomfort of it and realize like, "Okay, well, I'm here, I gotta send it now,"
mhm.
I'm gonna have to interact with somebody else, I'm gonna have to get my sweat on, and I'm thinking about how weird we are as humans because when we enter a new space, one, we have a fear of rejection, but we also have a fear of looking stupid, which
Absolutely.
which is funny because if you zoom out from it, why are we afraid of looking stupid with people that literally know nothing about us? It's
Right,
like
right,
you can always recover from it with a
right,
stranger. People are like, "What the heck is wrong with you?" if they do know
right.
you. But I often talk about this on the show is our fear of rejection is mostly unfounded because
Sure.
they did a study at the University of Stanford and basically, the results of the study, it was pretty comprehensive, was that people are 1.5 times more likely to accept you
Mhm.
than we actually perceive that they are. So,
Absolutely.
so what I love about this is that community, when you have to face, okay, I have this fear of rejection, I have this fear of being awkward. What if I can't box? What if I look stupid? All these things, and you do it anyways,
Mhm.
that's where you break through and get to start building community.
Absolutely. And that's something whenever people come in, I try really hard if it's their first time and they haven't come with a friend, I try really hard to introduce them to somebody, even if
Great.
it's just like the girl in the bag to the right and the left. Because I feel like if you just had one person, you can do anything, right? Like any social
Right.
situation, just find the one person. And I remember I was told this um, years ago, back when you and I were on Torzo. They said two things. They said, one, nobody is mad at the person who shows up late with donuts. And two, nobody or everybody wants to be friend with the person who offers them a piece of gum. And so I
True.
have kept those two things in my mind. So whenever I'm late, I'm like, bring a treat. um, and always, always offer a piece of gum. So whenever I go to a different gym or a social situation where I'm riding solo, I don't have, the comfort of a friend to join me, I
Mhm.
always have a fresh pack of gum and I will offer it to like whoever looks the friendliest. Just, hey, do you want a piece of gum? And then naturally you start talking. How long you've been coming here? What do you know about this event? What do you know about the
Yeah.
gym? And immediately you have a friend.
I love it. Ken, what do you think from your experience being on that side of things is the biggest issue or barrier from women? Because you have a women focused gym. And when it comes to being an adult making friends, what do you see is the biggest issue?
Perception. I think perception is reality. And so I can't tell you how many times I feel like I rewrite the story of who people think that I am after they get to know me. There's,
Mm,
you can only be either impressive or known. You can't be both. And so I think whenever you first meet somebody, you're as fast as you can judging them, right? You're
mhm,
like, okay,
mhm.
so what is she wearing? How is she conducting herself? How confident is she? Is she a threat? Does she seem like she's going to be kind? Should I trust her?
Right.
Like there's all of these questions that like shoot down in your head as fast as you can, right? And I think specifically as a business owner, I have experienced that dozens of times. I mean, I remember when I first opened up the gym and I had recently had a baby within the last year
Yeah.
and I was doing so many things, right? And so my physical body, like my muscles was one of the last things that I was taking care of because I was taking
Mm,
care of the gym so much. And so I
mhm.
remember meeting somebody in the gym and one of the things that she said to me, she literally gave me like a glance over and she was like, "Oh, you own the gym?" And so, like, immediately I was like, "Oh my gosh, do I? I don't know." Like, I started questioning, like, all of everything that was happening inside of me that, like, I had poured out all of me, but it was all about
Yeah.
perception. Like, she didn't see somebody who was, like, who really fit kind of the Sewickley mold, right? Like, jacked muscles and hair done,
Wow.
nails done, everything done, and that's just not me. And it turns out, like, she and I have become really close friends because she got to know who I was, and I rewrote the story in her mind. And so I think now that's obviously on
Wow.
a bigger scale, but I think
Sure.
to answer your question is, like, in the day to day, it's all about perception. I think it's
Mm,
twofold, right? Like, on one hand, we need to not be so quick to judge. And on the other hand, I think we need to settle down a little bit in who we are and just be a little bit more comfortable with, like, who we are and what we bring to the table. And whenever people hype me up, I remember one time this girl came in, she was so cute. She was like, "I can't believe I'm meeting you." And I was like, "Oh, who? I want to meet them too." And she was like, "You." I was like, "Wait, me?" She's like, "You're an Instagram celebrity." I was like, "Oh, word?" And then I quickly told her, I was like, "Girl, like, I cry in a plank too, you know?" Like, I that's the one thing I love about fitness is, like, you cannot be very impressive in fitness for very long because eventually all
mm,
planks hurt. So I tried to
mm.
bring myself down out of the space of impressive and just become known very quickly. So I say all that to say, perception doesn't need to be reality. Just give people an opportunity to show who they are, and I think you'll
Mm.
find a lot more friends if you give them some space to be who they are.
So true. No, I agree with everything you're saying, and I think often about the fact that another element of why we're having trouble making friends as an adult is because we don't think about what we actually want in a friend.
Mhm.
Like sometimes we're so desperate that we'll just take the first person
Mhm.
who gives me attention or gives me a compliment. But really, what I love about making friends at a gym or that type of community element is because you're already finding something that's a commonality.
Right.
Therefore, you have a starting board, to build the friendship upon. And when you find someone who's like going to a gym, it can easily trigger as, oh, they're disciplined. That's actually something that I'm looking for in a friendship.
Right.
So I actually think it speaks volumes to more about the person than just like, oh my gosh, they're fun,
Right.
they're jacked.
Yeah.
We have a blast together. So yeah, I think you're doing an excellent job building community there. Going back to saying that you didn't fit the mold, were you tempted to try and fit in, or how did you wrestle with like, "Actually, nope, can't do anything about it. You either love me or hate me,
No,
accept me or not."
girl. Yeah, I think once I turned 30, I just really settled in who I am. I
Mm,
really kind of love who I am, and there are obviously things that I wanna grow in, but I think it's refreshing when you meet somebody who is, like, humble and confident,
yeah,
and I think if you dig me, then cool. If not, that's okay too. There are a lot of other people that I know would probably fit your style, but I didn't really feel the temptation to alter who I was to try to fit any mold because it's
mm,
so fleeting and it changes so frequently, you know?
right, right. Yeah, no, totally, and I wanna just hit on the fact that you said, "I love myself,"
Mm.
and I feel like someone might have heard that and been like, whoa. Because it's hard for us to say that
Yeah,
nowadays, we're in this weird time in culture where it's like, if you have any sense of what could look like pride or give the appearance of it, you're a narcissist. But
right,
then at the same time, it's like self-love.
right,
It's just like, what do we do? Like, how
right.
do we just be? How do we just exist as humans
Yeah.
with all of our flaws and scars and everything? What has been the hardest part of building community for you so far?
I think the hardest part about building community, it's really easy for me to build community in the gym. I think one of the hardest parts is navigating the boundary between being a business owner and wanting to be a part of the gym kind of solely as like a member or just a trainer. Um, Owning a business can be a really lonely space because there's just a lot that you can't share with people.
Yeah.
Um, But then I started a mastermind group filled with other female business owners, and that kind of scratched that itch and helped me to find and build that community, because that was really lonely. Like the first year, 6 months to 9 months that we were open, I just there were so many things that I was like bouncing off of Spence, and poor guy, he was like, his eyes were going cross-eyed.
Yeah.
um and I just needed another female business owner. And so I think when you can find the pain points and then find a solution for it, they don't have to stay pain points. So for me, it was a loneliness of the entrepreneur life, but then I tried to quickly fix it.
So I think that is amazing. And what Ken's just talked about is one of the main principles that is discussed on the podcast, and it is the concept of going first. And Ken's went first by not waiting to find another female entrepreneur who wanted to be like, girl, you're a business owner. I'm a business owner. You created the space for women to be able to discuss entrepreneurship. And actually, you just decided to destroy your own loneliness on your own. And I love that. And it seems so simple, but yet it's a step that we so often forget because we don't actually realize how much autonomy and control we can have over the loneliness that we're experiencing, because loneliness isn't a stigma, it's just a signal that your body is craving connection. So we get to choose to actually provide those opportunities for connection for ourselves. So I absolutely love that. And you're also talking about another facet of friendship, and Arthur Brooks calls this real friends versus deal friends. And deal friends aren't necessarily actually all bad. There are some deal friends where it's like, that there's something you are going to get and vice versa
Mm.
by being friends with them. And so you actually created a space to have those friendships that are just really selective and isolated to, hey, these are my people who I go to for this. And I'm sure your marriage was really helped by this being the case too. So tell me more about how you decided to create this.
Mhm. I tend to be a solutions driven personality. And sometimes that's really advantageous and sometimes it drives people crazy. But I don't like to sit in things that I feel like are easily fixable. And I craved, like you said, I think our emotions can be smoke, and all you have to do is just follow the smoke down to the fire and find what the actual issue is. Like, what is the root? Some fruit on the tree is saying there's some rotting happening. So we need to, go to the base of it, rip it up, cut the branch off, whatever, right? Like we need to do some kind of tending to that emotion. And so I was experiencing that loneliness. I was like, surely I am not the only one who is going through this. Like I can't be. And as soon as I started talking to actually one of the girls who was going to the gym about it, she owns a business up in Beaver. And she was like, oh my gosh, I feel the exact same way. Same thing. My poor husband, I don't have anybody to talk to about this kind of stuff. And then as she and I were talking, we just kept naming other women. And so now we have a group of 5 of us and we meet once a month, sometimes twice a month. And we have for the last year and a half. And it's been one of the most refreshing groups that I've ever been a part of. I think that's just kind of like what we're called to do, right? Like if there is something in your life that you're unhappy about, like you really do have a lot of power to change most of it, right? I also watch a lot of Gary Vee, and he's
Come
very
on.
like vulgar and direct when it comes to that kind of stuff. And I
Yeah.
love it. It's so inspirational. And so I think that's just all it is, right? Like if you don't like something,
Yep.
then change it. Right?
Right. Yeah. You're not a victim to your
No.
circumstances. At any moment,
Right.
you can choose what you're going to do next with
Hmm.
what happened. Even if it's not by your hand and something happened and it's just in your lap.
Right.
What are you going to do with what you just found in your lap?
Yeah, and finding the community too to that I think the kind of community that you build is really important, because we're all going to find ourselves in a season at some point in our life where like the oxygen leaves the room, right?
That's right. Yeah.
All of us at some point in time are going to experience that. And I really do think your bounce back will be based on the community that you have chosen to surround yourself with. One of the hardest things ever, I think, is finding yourself there and realizing that your community isn't going to help you bounce back, because then
Yeah.
you've had whatever the traumatic experience was, and then you also have to make the choice of letting that community go. and then you're like ultra ultra lonely. So
Right.
I think when I got into my 30s, I found that to be such a top of the mind priority and desire was to find my community, that if
Mm,
anything happened to me or to, you know, something that I really cared about, to find the people who would just show up and drop food on my doorstep. You know, like
mm.
find the people who would crowd surf me back to safety. You know, just really like carry me in the midst of whatever I was going through. And it's hard to go through that if you don't have that community, but you can also thrive in the midst of it if you do.
Yeah, that's such a great point, Ken's. And you obviously went through a pretty traumatic experience a couple years ago while you were in the middle of opening your gym, and you found out who your true community was
Hmm.
through that. And I think a lot of people are afraid for that moment to come
Yeah.
because it's um, it's this whole concept of building something and then realizing that one decision could change everything. And then it's like, and then what do I have to show for all the time that I invested and
Right.
time spent and maybe money I spent, you know, because
Right.
sometimes friendships cost money. If you're
Right.
someone who's like, I only hang out with people when we're grabbing coffee or dinner, well, you better have a budget for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kens, you are obviously really good at building community, but with that, I think you've gained another skill set, and it's finding out pretty quickly what kind of community you don't want. So, talk to me about how you found out, maybe the hard way, of what type of community you did not want to build.
I think I have a couple different filters. I really I have like my close inner circle, and then I think you have like a medium close-ish circle, and then you have like the outer circle, right?
Yeah.
And I think that
Yep.
there are a couple qualities that I look for when it comes to friends. And you can always, not, I don't want to say always, but you can normally tell based on how they talk about other people. That's always a great indicator of how they'll likely talk about you whenever you're not around. And that will reveal a lot
Sure.
of the fruit in their life and the way that they treat a lot of their friendships.
Mm,
So, um,
mm,
are they kind? Are they loving? Are they patient? Are they gracious? Are they always giving the other person the benefit of the doubt? Or are they complaining? Are they
mm.
frustrated? Are they, you know, putting out somebody's business that doesn't need to be put out? Are they slandering somebody? I think those are probably my really quick filters that will help me to very quickly judge how close I will let you into my circle and what I share whenever I'm around you.
That's a really good gauge. And certainly, whenever someone is acting or um, entertaining that kind of behavior, it is showing that they're absolutely not a ride or die friend. They gonna die. They're gonna be the die friend once something goes away that they don't like, which is obviously not ideal. Tell me about how you have witnessed people actually build a friendship just by coming to your gym.
I get to watch friendships build in the gym because at the end of class, it kind of feels like we've gone to war together. And I think when you do something really hard with a group of people, you now have this like really relatable thing that has created a memory instantly. So even though you just met somebody 45 minutes ago, you can talk about like, oh my gosh, when I came in, I was so nervous or it was so cold in here and now I'm like drenched in sweat. Or do you remember when we were doing that leg series? I thought my leg was going to fall off. And now you have this opportunity to create this camaraderie in something that you guys both mutually went through together. And I've seen that like little spark, that cheering on of each other between rounds, that like that side eye that's like, oh, you're dying, I'm dying too. Look, I've seen those small gestures turn into, there are so many of us that are like attending each other's weddings and baby showers and bachelorette parties,
Mm.
and it's amazing. It's amazing what just supporting somebody through something hard like a plank can really birth an amazing friendship and carry outside of the gym too.
That is so true. You know, Simon Sinek has this quote where he said that friendship is two people who choose to grow together. And that is that iron sharpen iron. aspect, right? It's like that's how you get close is when you both go through something and grow through something together. So, no, I love that. That is a perfect visual. And honestly, going to war together is something that we should think about is the ideal type of friendship. Because like you're talking about of being impressive and being known, we all have a desire to be fully seen, fully known, fully
Mhm.
heard,
Mhm.
fully loved.
And fully accepted. I think that's like, that is the point of all of those. Everything that you just listed is that if you know me fully and you still love me, that is ultimate friendship.
Beautiful. Yeah, absolutely. Um, so you've seen people build friendships there. What is the wildest I could have never imagined this would actually happen as a result of creating this gym experience that has happened for you when it comes to building community?
Honestly, I would say the event that we have coming up in August.
What an absolute tee up she just gave us.
So it's so true though. So we're doing a sweat crawl through Sewickley. So it's 5 studios and 6 vendors and 2 sponsors. And it sold out in 2 weeks. 70 tickets. I
That's
mean, just
crazy.
like totally mind blowing to me. Like I remember like having this spark of an idea when I first opened up the gym, and SweatNet did it the first 2 years, and then
Mm,
unfortunately they closed down. And so I was like, I'll carry on the torch, and I was so nervous to do it because it's a huge endeavor.
mm,
Um, but it's been my dream since opening up the gym. Is like I just want to build bridges and collaborate with anybody who aligns with our vision and our mission. And so to have 4 other gyms in the area partner with us in this event is amazing. And then to bring 70 people
mm.
into Sewickley
Wow.
to be able to go through all of these different gyms, like I benefit from this in the sense that like those 70 people are going to come through my gym, but they're also going to come through what some would say is 4 other gyms as competitors, right?
Yes.
So it's a contradictory kind of event that some people wouldn't recommend that you would do for a successful business, but I could not disagree with you more. I
Mm,
I think that as long as you are moving and as long as you are doing it with people that you really love and align with and enjoy being around, then that's exactly what you should do. And so if you come to Bag and Bar on Mondays and Salt Power Yoga on Tuesdays and Ramp and Rise on Thursdays, like you should totally do that. As long as you are moving and being the healthiest version of yourself, absolutely. So I think when I saw that
mm.
we sold out this event, like that for me was just like, oh my gosh, we did it. Like we've created
Yeah.
the community of people who want to be a part of this, both in the business sense, as well as the crawlers who are going to be attending the event.
And I love just the generosity of the whole idea, Ken's, is because you even said it. Normally, all of these gyms would be competitors. You know, you're fighting over the
Hmm.
same clientele. But the fact
Hmm.
that you're like, hello,
Hmm.
this is not about clientele. Like, if our goal is actually to make people better
Right.
humans and live longer, then seems like we're actually more aligned
Right.
than we would be otherwise. So I love that. And I'm so excited for the event. It's going to be amazing. And obviously, if you're listening to this right now, sorry about you because you missed your chance to buy tickets.
Next year.
There you go. Next year's
Jump on the
sweat
wait
crawl.
list.
There's a year-long wait list. That's amazing. Ken, let's say that someone is listening to this, which most people will be, not listening from the Pittsburgh area, and they're inspired. They want to go, maybe not even build a community first, but find a community. What would your advice or encouragement be to them?
I think the first thing is, what is something that you're really passionate about? And then go buy a pack of gum. Show up at that thing and offer somebody a piece.
Come on.
That's what I would say.
I love it. And if they're like, "Thank you," and turn around and walk the other way, well, thankfully you have a whole pack and you can keep doing it. So I'm
You
sure
have
you'll find
21
somebody.
chances in that bag. I don't know how many pieces of
Twen
gum come in a bag.
21 was like, I would think at
15.
least 2 dozen.
Look,
Is
we
it
got
20?
gum here.
How
It's
many?
15. This says 15.
Now, why would there be 15? That is so weird.
I don't know, but
15?
Listen, if you take one, then you've got an even number. You have 14 friends you can make
Ken, you could
with
do that
this
math with
plan.
anything. If you take 5, then you have 10. Oh, we are falling off the rails. No, but Ken's, I think this has actually been a really great conversation because you're speaking from a very unique lens of having experienced personally and then building it personally too. So I really appreciate your wisdom you shared today. Do you have any final thoughts that you want to drop onto us?
No, I just find the thing that you love and do more of it. You'll be a much happier person. Find people that also love those same things, and then your life will be incredibly full.
And incredibly rich, just like the friendships we're trying to build. Well, if you do live in the Pittsburgh area, make sure you check out Kenz's Bag and Bar gym in the Sewickley area. It is amazing. It is so fun, and you will absolutely be sore for days afterwards.
I'm sorry, and you're welcome.
Amen. All right, Kenz, thank you for being my friend, and thank you for being on the show.
You're welcome, Zoe. Love you, sis.
Love you.